Hello people, I am Sky Demolisher and welcome back for another From the Collection Fridays, a series where I take things from my collection and show them to you, my viewers. And this week it is the BST AXN Cowboy Bebop Spike Spiegal figure. Obviously I mentioned this the other week with the Alphonse Elric one that I was disappointed in, and well, I'm not disappointed in the Spike. He's actually quite a nice Spike. Obviously fairly noticeable joints on him, but his joints do actually work properly, so I'm a lot happier with him. I got this because I doubt I will be able to get the SH Figure Arts Spike Spiegal. I managed to get Vicious like last year at some point, and I kind of hoped that the two of these guys would scale kind of okay, and as far as I can tell they do. I actually haven't opened Vicious. It's really hard to open him because it's Vicious and that. Obviously two sort of glaring issues with this figure when you get him will be the fact that his hair is sort of black and should actually have a greenish tinge. I know a lot of people have painted it to give it the greenish tinge, and the other issue is they didn't detail his mouth, so while he has a mouth you can't really see it. Obviously when we get around to it and you see mine, it will be actually kind of noticeable. This is because I took the idea from the Gundam people that do the panel lining with pencils and used a pencil to fill in the gap for his mouth. Much like the Alphonse box the other week, you get the blurb about the character, the accessories, so you get two sets of hands and the gun. Incredible sculpt details. I don't know if that's really true. Obviously it's CG on the back. 22 points of articulation again. I would say that this one is actually closer to 22 points of articulation. I swapped the hands over when I got them so that I could have one that's holding the gun and one that's sort of kung fu looking, because, well, he doesn't do kung fu, he does jeet kune do. They really did get his spindly look done quite well though. Hopefully if I stop him about there, it's about where we need to stop him, I think. And now we do the good old trying to balance thing. So he holds his gun fairly well. I don't know if I can clarify his face too greatly. It's like those minute changes to try to bring it into focus. Nope. That might be the best I can do. So you can see that he does actually have the mouth. If you get this figure and you want to do the same sort of thing, just sharpen a normal pencil. Maybe a black coloured pencil would also work, but you need to sharpen it first so that you've got like the fine point. And then just draw it in. If you go a little bit over the top, just use like a little bit of water to sort of clear it up a bit more. So he does actually do his pose quite well. The clothing is fairly well detailed too, so you know, all around very happy with this figure, because you know he's so much cooler than Alphonse. Articulation wise, so you do actually get one of the, you know, those kind of bends in the wrist here. It holds the gun not too badly. He's got a pointed finger, so you can't really have him pulling the trigger, but it looks close enough to pulling the trigger. And really, as far as I'm aware, that's also a safety thing when you're actually using actual firearms. You don't put your finger on the trigger and hold it there. You sort of hold it off above it, along the side of the gun, and that way you don't have to worry about accidentally pulling the trigger and all of that. Not that you really need gun safety tips. So there is, if I remember right, it's actually like a double bend at the elbow. There's no twisty on them. Joint that goes out and up, or in and out I should say, full 360 shoulders. There is actually like the thigh swivel there, and then a little bit of articulation at the hip, but of course his coat and, you know, his butt piece kind of makes it a little iffy there. Double joint in the knee, so he can actually bend his leg quite well. Similar joint to Alphonse in the foot, so the foot has swivel and all of that. Actually follows the figure a lot better than you know, the Alphonse one. And swivel at the end, so you do actually have the up and down. Technically does have the 360, but you got to raise his chin because, you know, chin gets in the way. So you can see that the hair doesn't have that sort of greenish tinge to it that it should. But he is very nicely articulated. He looks quite close to Spike. I think if I bring him in a bit closer like that, maybe. Try to get into that shadow thing. So you can see that he does actually have a mouth. It's sort of unfortunate that they didn't really colour it in. It would actually probably suit having that trench coat thing, so you can do like the end of the series as well. Whoops. His foot popped off. Don't worry, didn't break. It's just popped out of the ball socket there. So simply just slide that back in, which is what I kind of wish the Alphonse one had done instead of snapping, but obviously, you know, of course, because of spindly legs, it does make him kind of difficult to stand up. There we go. All around, pretty neat figure. If you didn't watch the Alphonse one, I picked this guy up from Vagabond Games. Last I looked, he was still available at Vagabond Games. He's also available at Mighty Ape, but I think when I looked on Mighty Ape they only had one left, which is not really surprising because, you know, it's Spike Spiegal. One of the reasons why I picked them up from Vagabond is because I already put a lot of my orders through Mighty Ape, and because we live in this plagued world, there's no guarantee that the event that I might find these guys at Armageddon is going to run, and I wanted to give Vagabond some business, which I do fairly often for like the Gundam stuff and display terrain, and I get game stuff off them. But most of the time I'm going through Mighty Ape, and I just wanted to support Vagabond this time around. So I'll leave links below for them if they're still available. Hopefully they are. This guy is definitely a lot better than the Alphonse. I don't know if we will get some of the other waves, because I believe that there was actually a Vicious and an Edward Elric that were in earlier lines, and these first got shown to me in January, like late January. So I'm sort of guessing that we have missed those ones, which is unfortunate. But I hope you've enjoyed this, and until next time, take care of yourselves. Bye.